Welcome out to our essential oil online class tonight. Our essential oil tonight is spearmint. Spearmint. It's like that gum. Spearmint.
Spearmint gum.
Freshens your breath.
Yes.
And Jade is our presenter. She's a fantastic lady and she loves essential oils. Is that good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys. Welcome tonight. From the people that are here in our class, will you just indicate some of your spearmint experiences, if you have any, or if you just barely tried it, and what you thought of it, what you think of it? Anybody have any experience with spearmint? Like it, love it, hate it? Anybody used it? No?
I like it in water.
I was just going to say the same thing. I was going to say the exact same thing. I like the way it tastes.
It's refreshing and like gives you energy, and it's not an overpowering taste. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I that's my favorite way to use it. I don't like it. I like that and the Siberian fir because they're very light, I feel. But the spearmint just seems to like invigorate you and give you energy.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Anybody else? Spearmint. All right, so spearmint is about, it's an oil you can use for indigestion, nausea, colic. Freshens your breath, helps support your respiratory system. It's cooling, helps you with focus. It's uplifting and energizing. It helps with menstruation, helps with head tension, and it's a great oil for confident speech. Okay, so you might think, did you want to say something?
I was going to ask us a question on, I think some other people have this question as well. I've heard pregnant people, is it okay for mothers who are, or expectant mothers, I guess, to take spearmint?
Yeah, some people say that they're worried about it, but with doTERRA oils, your body is going to be fine because they're so pure. And let the pregnant mom decide, because she will smell it and her nose will tell her if she needs it or not. Okay, so it's like eating spearmint leaves during pregnancy. It's not going to be any more dangerous than eating a salad.
I know when we were pregnant, people told us not to eat watermelon.
Yeah, yeah. One lady said, "Don't do it. You're going to have a miscarriage." But I like watermelon. What's wrong with that? So
at the back of the Modern Essentials book, there is a
guide
there, and it actually has adults, children, and pregnant people.
But I can tell you, the guide is a general guide, and I've met lots of doulas who've said, I've used every oil in doTERRA, and they use it in different ways. But if the mum says, I just need to smell it. I had a lady, she was very healthy. She got pregnant. She had lots of nausea. And she said all she needed to do was open her bottle of peppermint, sniff it. And she said the nausea went away right away. And I'm all, whoa, that was fast, because she was so healthy. All she needed to do was get it into her head and down her throat. And she didn't have to drink it or rub it on. And I thought, see, look at that, and she's actually a chiropractor herself. So she has all this knowledge about health. And yeah, so I think it's up to the mum to allow the mum to smell it and use it, and she'll know. And like with all the doTERRA oils, people ask, oh, what's the dosage? How much do I use? Well, then I ask them the question, how healthy are they? Right? If we have somebody like that chiropractor, she's, beautiful, good weight, and very healthy, ate very healthy all her life, just need a little sniff of it. Somebody else that's never taken good care of themselves, don't even know much about good eating and stuff, one drop won't be enough maybe. So I would say, hey, you be the judge. Try one drop. If you think you need more, do two. And, just go up, but don't just put a whole bunch in and then go down like that. Yeah, because you're just wasting it or overwhelming your body. Yeah. Okay, but it's not going to be like super duper dangerous like drugs. Okay. your body will metabolize essential oils within 4 to 6 hours. So you'll pee it out, it'll be flushed out of your system, it won't be stored or accumulated at all, right? Okay, so spearmint, you might wonder, hey, it's like, isn't it like peppermint? Looks like peppermint, smells sort of like peppermint, but our spearmint is slightly different. It has some big differences too in chemistry as well. Okay, the smell is similar, but it's still very different in some ways. So it's new to doTERRA a long time ago. All the spearmint we could get was from the Summer Sensation, the small little 5 ml bottles.
You can only buy once a year.
Once a year. But now it's a regular product, so we can use that and we can add that to our collection. And it's so funny because my 2 youngest, I've got twins, and they would go to fennel and spearmint. And spearmint is about speech, right? You get your say. And, we've got mom and dad and big sisters, they all speak and you want to be heard. And that's an awesome oil for them, right? Feeling the small, and so they love this oil. We have used it in lots of different ways, but mostly I drink it like most of you, and I give it to my twins for their speech. But otherwise, I don't use it too much for anything else. And as I research spearmint, I think I'm going to use it more now. So peppermint.
I think it's one of those unloved oils.
Yeah, it's just forgotten in the corner.
Yeah. We haven't heard a lot about it. It wasn't ever presented at
it wasn't presented.
Convention or anything like that.
Yeah.
So this will be good.
Yeah. So we have peppermint that have ketones, and a bit less than 25% of peppermint is ketones. But in spearmint, slightly less than 70% is ketones. So that's different. The ketones stimulate cell regeneration. It promotes the formation of tissues, and it liquefies mucus. So those people that have the winter coughs and things that won't go away, we have lime, and we have spearmint now that you could try. Take in your water and help break up that old mucus, because it can be stuck there in your throat, in your lungs. Okay, and it helps with the respiratory issues too.
And it smells like that too. It smells like a respiratory oil.
Well, yeah. As soon as you smell it, you can feel more oxygen molecules in your lungs. It's just very cooling and refreshing. So we've had one person here, 2 people that tasted or tried spearmint. Anyone else here that tried spearmint?
I have a confession.
Yes.
Go ahead, Tosh.
No, I thought someone else was talking. I have a bottle and I haven't cracked it, so this is why I'm here to. And I wasn't sure, because being pregnant, whether I could use it. So thank you.
Yeah, and your nose will tell you. Yeah, that'd be good.
Sure. Cool.
Alrighty. So digestive support. Okay, because it helps with tissues and mucus. We have mucus in our gut. All right, and it just slows things down, and it clogs things up too. So you want to open it and help things flow in there. So 2 to 3 drops internally. You can drink it with water because it tastes great. Otherwise, you can put it in the veggie capsules, swallow it. And for your digestion, so any sort of issue with digestion, say people might have heartburn, or they have other concerns with their gut, whatever it's called, they could drink the peppermint spearmint oil, and it help with calming that tract. Okay, so if you want to be a mad scientist, you can add ginger and peppermint and tangerine oil to that. So I shake it up sometimes because I just want a variety. So in my water bottle, I'll do those oils, add a little bit of ginger, a little bit of the spearmint, peppermint, and tangerine.
That's a really good idea, because sometimes if you're taking the same digestive blend every single time, you start to make an association.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I must be sick. I smell this.
Yeah. So that's another option for you. And by the way, those little numbers next to the different usage, it's links to research. And when you read it, you'll be so happy and surprised all the things it can do for your body beyond what we say here. Okay, they've done some awesome research. Okay, the next thing here is freshen breath. So we have our peppermint beadlets, but you can carry your spearmint too. It's already in our On Guard toothpaste, but you can always put it on your toothbrush and add some more. Okay, if you just brush with that, or even swish and do a mouth rinse with that. That's
and
really
the DIY books will have that in the mouth rinse. Just put a few drops of water. Sometimes people make their own mouth rinse.
It's so much more powerful.
Back in the day, we used to use what is that?
Listerine.
Yeah, the mouth rinse.
It's so much more powerful than the colored stuff that we buy. Okay, and you know what? You can swallow it afterwards if you want to.
And it will help with your digestion.
Yeah.
And focus, as you'll see later on.
Mm-hmm. All right, healthy gums. All right, healthy gums and teeth represents your organs, really. So if you have just a quick Google of the teeth meridians, for example, if one tooth gives you problems all the time, you can see what the organs that are related to that tooth is, and then fix that organ or whatever. So our daughter, she had a little abscess underneath one of her teeth, and she was prescribed some medication that we didn't take. Because I said, look, Ben, I can do this. You just trust me. And he got a little bit nervous, but it was quickly resolved. Because I said, look, if this is the stomach and the lung meridian, so I'll help rub oils on her lungs, rub oils on her tummy, have her drink oils for her tummy. And within a few days, it went away, and we kept on going because we were responsible parents for the whole week. So made sure it was all completely gone. Did lots of oil pulling with the different oils, peppermint, spearmint, and stuff, just for in her mouth. But we took care of the other things too.
Yep.
And it was awesome.
Yep. She went back to the dentist, no problem.
Yep. Okay, so that's that. But if you say you have a certain area in your mouth that you need to focus on, you can actually just drip a drop right there. Okay, in that area. Anywhere you focus the oils are going to be concentrated in that area, of course. Okay, so that's for gums. Anybody want to add anything to this? Make comments or ask questions?
So it doesn't sting or anything if you have like a sore on your gums and you put a drop on there?
I'm not sure.
Let's do a live demonstration.
I'm not sure if it does, but like if it's anything like melaleuca, it actually numbs. So
it doesn't feel stinging, but then again, I take oregano.
It takes oregano, so just, not the best example. Drink some water.
It's nice and powerful, though. There is a bit of a numbing sensation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's stinging.
No.
Kind of like I wouldn't say it like not as numbing as clove.
Yeah. Clove and On Guard, all those are pretty numbing. Even melaleuca for your mouth and gums. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is a fun oil to use.
Powerful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so go to respiratory. If you guys have the oils here, you can make this blend. It's so yummy. In your diffuser, mix the spearmint, okay, and add eucalyptus and lime. Okay, just equal portions, 1 drop of each, and smell that. It's quite yummy. So it's a different version of your breathe. Sometimes this breathe is so yummy and good, but you want to shake it up a bit sometimes. So this is quite good.
And if you have you have some congestion, you've got to go off to work and you don't have a diffuser or anything. I don't know if everybody knows about these inhalers. Does everybody know what an inhaler is? I'll get one. I'll show you.
Yeah.
But you can use an inhaler and you just carry it in your pocket.
You block one side of your nose and sniff, and then block the other and sniff.
Yeah, just breathe it straight into that nostril for some support there. I'll get one.
Yeah, those are fun. They have a little wick that you put the oils on. Yep, and lime oil helps break down old mucus, and eucalyptus is very good for respiratory concerns too. So that's good. You can always rub it on the bottom of your feet and your chest. Okay, so that's spearmint for respiratory. Anyone else want to say anything? Okay, so Ben's got the inhalants here. It's just a plastic. You can buy it in a pack of 6 or so.
Yeah, I think there's a link on there somewhere.
Yep.
So it's just a blank little thing. That's a yellow one.
Plastic tube.
Just a plastic tube. And then you've got the wick here.
It's a cotton wick.
So you just put the wick, put your essential oils on that. And then it's got a cap for the bottom, which we're not going to put on right now. And then when you need to, have a bit of a whiff, don't put it up your nose. That would be insanitary. Insanitary? It would be insanitary. Insanitary. Unsanitary. So yeah, they're just called inhalers. You can get them online. Aroma Tools. I think we have a link to Amazon or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, inhalers are really great for any congestion issues.
So actually, more than congestion, my friend said she wanted one for her son's respiratory problems, and then she had one for his happy problem because he gets irritated very easily. So she has 2 in his pocket to sniff when he's angry with his friends or whatever the situation
Absolutely.
is.
We had another friend, her child had anxiety issues going to school. Of course, you can give them a little bit of a sample bottle or something like that. But this would be another one, when the child's, in a situation where he or she is very anxious, at school, she can get something out like this and smell it to kind of decrease the anxiety. So that's a good idea. Just wanted to share those with everybody. Not everybody knows about them.
Yeah. Alrighty. So for cooling, we have these empty bottles. If you are an oil user, before long you'll get the empty bottles. Wash out your bottles, take off the labels, and then buy these little nozzles. They're like spray nozzle heads that you can put in your 15 ml bottles. Okay, so you might want to cut the plastic just a little bit so it can fit. But this one you can fill up with water, and then for cooling, put a drop or maybe 2 drops of spearmint in here and shake it up and spritz it on your body. Sometimes the Aussies and the people down in the southern hemisphere now, it's summertime for you guys. So that's one way a lot of my friends cool themselves down. And they do that with peppermint, and do it with spearmint as well. If you are unwell and you're overheated in that way, add frankincense and lavender to it, or you can do that on a washcloth. Yeah. So spearmint, frankincense, lavender on a wet washcloth, put it over your forehead and then onto the back of your neck.
So there's 2 situations where you might need cooling. 1, because the weather's hot, and 2, because your body is heating itself up to deal with
sort of
infections or something like that. So there you go.
All righty.
Oh, Emma has a question.
Emma?
Yes, Emma. Can you unmute you?
I've been getting over the flu, and so I was just putting a cold washcloth over my forehead. But for the cooling, because my body was just getting so hot and I was running a fever. So that would have been so nice to have, and along with the inhaler, like you're saying, because I just got prescribed an actual for asthma because my breathing was so low. And anyway, I'm just happy to hear that, because those are just 2 things that I could have been using that would have probably been even more effective in helping me with. Yeah,
it's super good stuff. Yeah,
and this is why we gotta teach each other.
The other one I would recommend is the Breathe Vapor Stick. If you don't know about that,
yeah, that's I Breathe, and the peppermint drops, the drops too. So to help off in my throat.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma.
It's really cold in the US for those people in Australia and other places. it's you know, it's a funny kind of season because
Australians are all hot and we're all cold.
Yeah. We've got almost snow here.
We're hot with fevers. A lot of people have been sick lately, haven't they?
Yeah.
I had a friend too. She was wanting an oil for like hot flashes, like from menopause. So like, would that be good to help like cool her down, like you said, for the cooling?
Yeah.
And
So that's a managing symptom.
That would be a symptom management thing. Yeah.
But one thing we can do for them is to give them the phytoestrogen and the Claricalm.
Yes.
Put the Claricalm on the inside of your arms like this, okay, and on your abs, and it's magic.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really with the Claricalm because that too. So
the phytoestrogen will take care of the balancing, so it doesn't happen, and you don't have to manage it.
All menopause and those things. The
blanket dance.
The hormonal class, managing your hormones. And women's health and stuff.
Yep, that's
very good. Yeah, that's a good idea for the symptoms.
Yep. So that's for cooling. Good. I love those comments,
thank
Emma.
You.
Thank you so much. So focus and memory. You know, you can use this for spearmint with spearmint and wild orange. So there's a lot of research there for the mind and for the tissues, the brain tissues. So this is just using it mildly, but you can actually really affect memory. For people who do have some memory concerns, it's powerful. I tell you a story. When I was in Ohio, the polio support group that I spoke at, a gentleman asked me what to do for his memory, and I just had nothing else with me. I had a little few samples of this and that, but I had the balance oil, and I gave that to him. And 3 months later, I was invited to speak again at a different location, and he happened to be there at that polio support group too. And he came up and in his wheelchair, and he introduced himself again. And he said, you know, you gave me that oil, that balance oil, and I just want you to know that I have my memory back. I've stopped taking those medications to help me with memories, and I have my short-term memory back. And my wife and I thank you. And I thought, wow, that's awesome.
All that from a sample.
Yeah, all that from a sample. And he says, I still have it.
He's just smelling it.
Yeah, he was just smelling it. But the research I've done, you can do it with spearmint and a few other oils in that research. So how cool is that to have something that you just sniff up into your brains and it kind of does its job? I just think so subtle but powerful.
And can I share something about wild orange is also will boost your creativity. So you have it focus and memory, a really great study aid, especially if you're working on anything artistic or that requires a bit of creativity. I like to diffuse peppermint wild orange combo for being creative when you're making plans or
get your kids little necklace diffusers. Put those oils on so they can wear it all day and, be good students at school.
Yeah, and it smells good.
Yeah. All right, energy. I've had people to ask me, how do I get more energy? It's about the gut, guys. When you clean out the gut, the fungus and other parasites and bacteria, it doesn't zap and take away your food as energy source. Okay? So if you can cleanse your gut, essential oil is one of the most powerful and effective ways to cleanse your cells. I mean, we can cleanse with good diet, but it's sort of like cleansing on steroids when you're doing it with essential oils. Okay, because the oils are concentrated plants anyways. All right, so cleanse the gut. But most people here were mentioning earlier that they just drink it because it tastes good. So imagine drinking it on a regular basis, 2 or 3 drops internally. I mean, you'd be cleansing out your gut. You're going to go to the bathroom more, and you'll find that you'll have more energy. Okay?
So we see a lot of the same solutions that we see with peppermint, but it's not all exactly the same. So its own personality.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a different side to it. Good for immunity. It's like I said earlier with the gut. If your gut is clean, your immunity is stronger. Okay, so take that internally. Cellular tissue support. Oh, there's several research for spearmint for the cell apoptosis. That means if the cells are sick, it triggers self-destruct so that it doesn't duplicate its mutated self. Okay, that is powerful. So we have thyme oil, we have all the DDR prime oils, and we have spearmint. Okay, so it's a great oil for the cellular health. Okay, so take that in internally. All right, can you see that the oils have hundreds of active ingredients? So when you're using it for one thing, it helps with other things too. So it will go to where it needs to go. So that's amazing. Okay, so nothing to do with the health here. So ticks, if you have animals or if you kangaroos in your backyard and you have tick problems, you can put the peppermint oil straight on. There's other oils you can use, but spearmint works too. Or you can use it in the spritzer bottle and spritz it on to repel the ticks. Okay, so that's another one you can use, guys. Utilize your spearmint.
It's a lot better than using a match to burn it, to get it to let go.
Yeah, yeah. So people that are in the country,
then you risk its head being stuck in there.
Yeah. Well, we weren't joking when we talked about kangaroos. Our daughter hugged a kangaroo and she got a tick on her ear. It was funny. But we have friends that are in the country, I know, in the farm areas in Australia that are listening to this. And so you guys have kangaroos and other animals too that will have tick problems. So, yeah. Okie dokie. Questions and comments?
Anything for that section on the body?
All right.
Okay.
We'll move on to the mind
and emotions.
It's the oil of confidence, speech. And according to the Emotions and Essential Oils book, this is a book that I think everyone should have. It's about removing fear of public speaking, timid, holding back opinion, and feeling inarticulate. This is like such an important oil I wish I had when I first started doTERRA. It's like I want to teach and I want people to come, but I don't want them to come at the same time because I don't know what I'm going to say. So that's not a problem anymore for me, but it's interesting how we're so nervous about what we will say. We'll stumble over our words. And
it's true, you know. You're so happy to set up an essential oil class, but you're worried and you don't want them to come to it. It happens. We're not going to ask for a show of hands.
We're like, I think everyone will raise their hand. Oh, I have felt like that once. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the positive emotions that it helps us adopt is confident, articulate communication, clarity, and courageous. Now, you know, we encourage people to use essential oils and think in a certain way. We make associations because when things fire together in our minds, it wires together, right? And we want to train our brains to think in a more positive way because if we let it go to the default, we're going to think negatively and like everybody else, and you know, it's not easy sometimes. So that's why we have these wonderful oils with powerful energy that can boost your energy too. If you think of an oil that you love, right? Smell that and try to frown, right? It's just not going to happen because it's an oil that you really love. Okay, so spearmint encourages mental clarity and helps you translate the inner stuff to just more clarity into words, okay? So if you have some thoughts, sometimes we think aloud and we talk aloud so we can think, because in here things are not working out very well, and so we have to kind of dump it out. The spearmint helps you sort through those thoughts and then to speak better. Okay, so there's a uplifting the heart and clarifying the mind blend here. This is Jade's blend, by the way. I came up with this one. 1 drop of spearmint, 1 drop of lavender, and 1 drop of clary sage. And I actually used it in my necklace diffuser today. because I really wanted to know what to do for people when I meet them. And when I teach, I want to communicate in a way that they would understand. So you can mix it together and put it in the palms of your hands and inhale. And then these are some of the affirmations that you can use. So I release the need to hold myself down, because, you know, we doubt ourselves. I value what I offer the world. All right, and I can articulate my values and opinions confidently. So I said that to myself today and using this oil, and it feels really good. Okay, so the next thing here is confident speech. So you can dilute it with a fractionated coconut oil. Rub 1 drop of each of the lavender and spearmint on the throat area to help with speech. So you've got little kids that are learning to speak. The 1-year-olds, the 2-year-olds, they're learning to speak. It's a really wonderful oil to dilute and just rub it over their throat to help them organize. Okay, because physically it does go into the brain and it does trigger apoptosis in some areas. Basically, if something's not right, it's just going to help it have self-destruct. So that's awesome. It's physically cleansing. And so you can see that mentally you're cleansing too. It's really cool how it does that in so many different levels. Yeah, any thoughts, any inspirations? What do you think, guys?
Or questions?
Questions?
I was going to say, I really love having my book right here, and it's open to the spearmint, and I didn't think it's the emotions one, and like I didn't really think that I would need it, but I love having it, and I love reading the story. But anyway, I just really like having it open here and just being able to refer to it. But it was with the, let me look back real quick. Oh, it was the confidence speech, yes. I did a speech in high school one time with this group that I was really involved in, and I actually spoke to over 100 people. And I was such a mess, but I did it because I knew like that was something that I really struggled with. I love to write, and I like to talk to people, but like I was just so anxious, and I had spoke to so many people, like that would have been just awesome to have that. And so, and just like with the speech, like Avonlea, she's starting to talk more, and so it's going to be really great to have that for her. And any, future speeches or public speaking that she's going to do, just give her that confidence and to be able to articulate. That's going to be really, really nice. So that was kind of just my thoughts with that. And I think back when we were talking about the balance and the man that you gave that to, I wonder if it was some of the frankincense in there too, because I was reading about the frankincense helping the memory, and Zach's grandpa and grandma were visiting this weekend, and I was diffusing frankincense because I got one of the free bottles this past month, and he was like, that smells really good. And I was like, oh yeah, and that article you're reading, I was like, you're going to remember a lot more of it now. Nailing that, because he reads all the time, and he's a high school teacher. So I was just like, you're going to be able to remember a lot more of that reading you're doing too. So not only does it smell good, but you get that too. So that was cool.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? It just does so many different things, and the oils have similar traits in that it shares some of the similar chemistry. So you'll find that people will come back to you with different oils but similar results. Depends on what they need. It's really fantastic. I know I tell people all the time, all the oils help you have stronger immunity and helps you with lots of similar things, but sometimes you're coming at it at different angles. And if this is the oil that calls out to you, then you come to that party in this way.
Yeah, I was going to say also, my doctor actually was telling me geranium. He actually told me, he's like, geranium, use that when you start to feel like you're getting sick, or among other things but I thought that was really cool that was on the list. And of course he said ginger, but I thought that was really nice, hearing from him. He even recommended it. So I was like, that's just
sounds like you need to bring some samples of doTERRA oils to him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. All right, this part here I'm very excited about. It's to access your inner light. Okay, so we're going to talk about the spiritual side of spearmint. to access your inner light, because it helps us convey that light to the world with clarity and confidence. It awakens us to clearly see the role we play in the world. I always will remember my friend Dora in Australia, because when I first met her, she's a health nut, and she's excited about the oils just to help her with her health. And then I think maybe 6 months to a year later, she told me, she says, Jade, I just woke up. And what she really meant was she could see herself from bigger perspective, and she's more living life intentionally, and she's more aware of herself. And now that's why she wanted to quit and then do doTERRA and share it with the world and things like that. But totally different person to when I first met her, and it really feels awakening. Okay, so most people, when I meet them for the first time, they're thinking I'm selling a candle or something that smells great, and put it in the diffuser, your house smells awesome. But then when I get into the conversation, I tell them, you know what I say is I might just get into, your deepest and darkest secrets and things, and you might feel vulnerable and stuff. It's okay, because that's how I help people heal from the real root. Okay, it's not just superficial. We really want to help people heal permanently, and in order to do that, they need to heal at a spiritual and emotional level. Okay, so when we're aware of ourselves, we're aware of our heart energy. Okay, we're aware of our gut energy too, of course. So, you have your gut feelings, or your heart just says this, and you just follow the heart. I mean, that's very true, because, it's a way that I feel God has helped us be guided in this world. And if we follow that, if we're self-aware enough, we follow that, we'll always be bright. Okay, sometimes you think in your head, it doesn't make sense, but this just feels so right here, and my gut says it's right, and I'll just do it, and it will work out. So what I want to help people do is to help them not to continue to react to external stimulus, and have this emotional response and live in this emotional bubble, to really get out of that, to identify what's this emotion about, and then get out of there, and then do some logical reasoning. And that's why I said to a lot of people, I think when someone gives me an excuse, sometimes I don't take that as the real excuse. I listen harder, and I think, what is their real problem? Deep down, what are they really saying? Whether they know it or not, what is it that they really need? So allow yourself to be still and ask yourself some good questions. So here are 5 questions I have for you, and it's helped me, and I'll show you how to apply it. Okay, the first question is, what am I feeling? So sometimes you're angry, upset, and hurt, and you're crying. You don't know what it is. Okay, so as soon as you identify it, you can say, I'm hurt, or I'm offended, or I'm confused, or I'm angry. As soon as you get the right words for that emotion, you're on the right track. Okay, so you can use these oils to help you have more mental clarity, so that you can identify exactly the feelings. And then you can say, why am I feeling that way? Okay, if you ask a question, your brain will go into the search mode, and it'll find the answers for it. What's your fear? Okay, or what's my fear? Why? Because it is a fear. If it's a negative emotion, it's a fear. Okay, so what's the fear really about? Okay, and then find the core belief behind those reasons. And once you do find that, then you can change. This is how you can truly permanently change. If you are in your own way, if you got blocks year after year after year, if you're trying to lose that weight, if you're trying to reach rank, if you're trying to be successful in certain areas and you have not been able to do that, maybe you are not self-aware enough to identify what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and then what the real core belief is underneath all of that. Okay, as soon as you identify it, then you can positively change consciously, logically. Okay, so when we can be more self-aware, we can live life more intentionally, right? And we can get out of there and change, because as humans, we have the ability to change, and I believe that. I've seen that. Okay, ready to apply this knowledge, guys? Yeah? So this is an example here. So something happens and you feel hurt and offended. Okay, so you cry, you get upset, and you just have this yucky, nasty. So you can sit in that feeling, right? Or you can sit and just whine and cry. So I had a lady, she was mourning for a death of a family member for 1 whole year. She didn't go out, she didn't do stuff. She held herself back, she mourned and mourned because she allowed this feeling to take over her. And I asked her, I said, if that person was here watching you now, would they be happy? You know? And then if this year someone else, a relative that passed away, are you going to be able to move forward still? And it's like, oh, yeah. So I helped her identify some of the feelings, all right, and identified why. And some of the reason why was because she felt like she wanted to show love. And if she didn't hurt a lot, that means she mustn't have loved that person a lot. And I thought, wow, okay. So you got to really, so death equals grief to the extreme. Yeah, so that's interesting. So I said, wouldn't it be better to honor them and say, this person has given me all of these things that I remember, that all these gifts and skills, and that person has blessed me in this way, and I will honor that person in this way and remember this person this way, and I will show this person success because they've given me those wings or whatever. Wouldn't that be a great way to honor them? And so when she identified all that, then she found a solution. So she's like, yes, I'm going to succeed for them, and for me, and got power from that. You see what I mean?
One of those is inward looking.
Yeah.
You're worried about whether people think that you love that person.
Yeah, that's right.
The other one's outward looking,
Mm-hmm.
saying, how can I serve and honor their name?
That's right. And I said to her, there's two parts of grief. We can grieve what we have lost, right? And what pains it caused us. Or we can say, how can I honor that person and serve the world better and take that knowledge and skills or what gifts that person has brought into my life and, pay it forward. So, yeah, that lady, she was like, oh, I never thought about that way. Okay. But this is another typical one. So feeling hurt, angry, offended, for example. And you can feel hurt and angry and offended. And everyone you meet, you tell them about how you hurt and how you're angry and how you're offended. Right? So, you have to ask yourself, why am I feeling that way? Okay, really ask that question. Oh, because he or she thinks I might be stupid or incapable or I'm no good. Okay, so now you've written that down. So look at that. Okay, so because of that reason. And then ask yourself, well, what's the fear? What's my fear there? Oh, my fear is that I don't want people to think poorly of me. Okay, so you found something there. And then let's dig deeper. What is the core belief behind those reasons? It could be, subconsciously, I feel like I'm not good enough. There. And as soon as you can identify that, a lot of people, they cry when they hit the spot. They think, yep, that's me. I don't feel like I'm good enough. And as soon as you find that core reason, then you can consciously tell yourself, well, I'm good enough. I'm good enough for now. Okay, and then you've resolved it. So I tell people that when we believe we're good enough, then, when people say things to us, it doesn't offend us because you have it. You don't need them to validate. Okay, and that's when you've healed. But if that hurt and that pain is there, it's just a wonderful way, a clue, an indication that something still needs to be resolved. And you can't just leave it there and passively live. You need to consciously and be aware, and intentionally think better thoughts. I have a lady, she says she wants to be successful. And I asked her, what does it look like? And she's like, I don't know, rank higher in my business, more money. And I said, if you can't see it, you're not going to get it. Right? So, if you just hold yourself down and just sit in this emotion state all the time, instead of logically reasoning yourself forward, then still be in this circle for a while. Okay, so what we want to do is take ownership of our feelings. Our subconscious chooses to feel that way for some reason, right? It didn't happen. If someone didn't make you feel that way, you chose to, actually, even if you didn't realize it. Okay, so we need to intentionally, logically go down to the root and change it. So this is how I reason with myself, right? I say, wait, I'm a child of God, so that means I'm good enough for now. Okay, I'm good enough for God, right? I will improve gradually, right? But I don't need to be perfect today. If God wanted me to be perfect, I would come perfect already. But no, I have weaknesses, and the weaknesses are good because it reminds me to be humble. And humble simply means that I'm okay being human. Okay? And so when I'm more tolerant of my humanity, I'm kinder to others. So the people or the other humans that hurt me or offended me, they didn't mean it. All right? And they've messed up too. So, I'm human, they're human. Okay, that's no big deal. And that's one way for us to release it and let go. Okay? So I've got a little picture here. This is how my brain thinks, guys. Emotion side, icky, yucky feelings, negative, blaming, irritable. You're okay to feel that for a moment, okay, or for an hour or so. But you got to shift yourself over to your logical self. And I love the spearmint because the spearmint does that to us. It helps us think clearly. So it helps, help our gut, helps our heart, helps our mind, everything to just clarify. And then once we are able to clarify, we can articulate, what it is that we're really feeling and thinking. Okay, so whenever you get caught up in this emotional state, just move yourself out of it because you can. It's not out there. It's not if that person changes, if this situation changes, then I'll be happy. It's our happiness from within.
For those of you who are just listening to this, this is found at jadebaldwin.com/spearmint /spearmint.
Yep.
You can see the graphic that she's put together.
All right, so I hope everyone got something out of this. And just use spearmint so that we are less reactionary and more empowered and self-aware. Okay. Any questions, comments?
And then there's the PDF of the top 10 uses for spearmint oil, as always. And all the research that Jade did for us. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything anybody wanted to add?
Thanks, Jade. That was good. I think a lot of people can now use it to help them with their classes and confidence in talking and speaking and being aware of what they're going to be talking about and not so in their heads. So.
That is a good point. Yeah, essential. That's fantastic. I just want to remind everybody, you can watch all the past online classes. They're uploaded to the YouTube, so you can go to Jade's YouTube channel there, or you can look at this page right here. It's just in the menus for all the past online classes. So it'll be here along with all the other ones in the past. Wellness classes, business classes. And you can also subscribe to the Jade Baldwin podcast. So if you don't have time to watch this or join us, you can always download it on the podcast and listen to it on your way to work or school or the grocery store or whatever, or while you're doing the dishes or the laundry. We do know a lot of people, they're really wanting to learn more. It's hard to carve out some time for you. So here's a way to make the most of your time and sign up for the Jade Baldwin podcast or watch all the old online classes. So I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that.
Thank you. Any last words, guys? Anything you want to say? Okay, that's great. I know this is kind of deep, but I hope it's helpful and makes sense to you. Right, so we'll end our call and we can hang out here and answer questions if you like.
Yes, and thank you everybody who's come. And for those of you who are listening on the podcast, we know we have what is it, like something like 80 subscribers or something.
Yeah, thank you.
So we do know that a lot of people are joining in other ways. Thank you for listening and paying attention. If you guys do have any questions about any specific oil that we present on, put those questions on Jade's website. So go to jadebolden.com. It's easy to post any comments or questions with your Facebook account, for instance. You just click on the link and it'll link up and allow you to post whatever. So
yep.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.